We also do some work around media sentiment.
Tell us.
Yeah, so we've been working with professors. One of them, Ronnie Sadka, who's at Boston College. He runs the finance department there.
Hmm.
And Gideon Oziek, who teaches at EdHec Business School. And I think this is just so important and not well understood.
Yeah.
You may have seen or read the book that Robert Schiller put out, Narrative Economics, a few years ago.
Yes.
It basically spells out how economic narratives, stories we tell, or understandings we have move markets and change economic behavior. And he lays out the entire theoretical groundwork for this. And we're just delighted when that came out, because this is what we'd been measuring and trying to do with this partnership. But what we're doing is we're looking at digital media. So everything from press releases to local news to blogs to major financial news outlets and other news outlets, and using large language models. So the same technology behind ChatGPT and other chatbots to read all of that news to the tune of, we're talking about several 100,000 sources that are getting scanned every day, and looking for patterns that emerge. And let me give you an example of a pattern. One thing we've been measuring recently is the Donald Trump theme, right? So you can measure how much coverage is there.
Yes.
How does it relate to some economic or market context? And you can measure the sentiment. Is it talking about it in a positive way or a negative way, which has to do with the words that are used. And it's amazing. We actually have over 100 themes that we track. Not all of them are political. We track recession risk. We track the labor market. We track inflation. And what we can create is a map. We call it a map. On one dimension, it's a grid. So in one dimension, how much coverage is this theme getting? And what we do is you have to pick negative or positive. So we pick negative. So how much, we call it negative intensity, but it's how much negative coverage is this theme getting? Yeah. And that's one dimension. The other dimension is how correlated is this theme to assets? So we typically look at either the US dollar or the S&P 500. And I tell you, it's fascinating. These themes emerge, and for a period of time, markets will be quite correlated with the fluctuations and how they're being covered. At a certain level, I guess it shouldn't be that surprising. We all read the news. I have like 4 different news apps on my iPad, and I'm always reading them. And investors are reading these things, individual investors, institutional investors, and they're reacting to it, right? So what we find is that these changes in sentiment around these themes can correlate to markets, and they help us understand which themes investors are actually paying attention to and trading on, and which ones may be getting a lot of coverage, but no one's really acting on.